I love my band director, but I don't want to be them. So stop teaching me how. Today we're blowing hot air on your music program. Huh. Hi there, I'm Cece.
And I'm Lady Luna.
And we're blowing hot air. All right, so our hot topic, I'm super duper excited to talk about this. Guys, remember back in episode 1, we were talking about how Florida Memorial University was getting their own marching band program and
full marching band
program. Well, I've had a marching band program, but a full program with all the bells and whistles that you see in your local favorites. And we have a huge announcement. So I'll let you do the honors because this is your heart.
Oh my God. I cried. I really did. I cried. So if you follow us on Facebook, you know that we shared it. Mr. Richard Beckford has been named the band director for Florida Memorial University. Yay! So I am stoked. I was texting her at 1:00 in the morning when I got the alert from Florida Memorial that they posted the video, and I was literally in tears. I couldn't stop shaking. So Mr. Beckford, he's gonna be completing the season with Carroll City, making sure that they get through the rest of the school year. He's gonna be retiring from Miami-Dade County Schools, and he is going to be moving to the collegiate level. And I am so happy that he chose my alma mater.
Awesome. So for a little bit of background history or context, because I was totally making y'all put on my contacts. But context, Mr. Richard Beckford is originally the band director over at Miami Carroll City Senior High School in Miami Gardens, Florida. And he's amazing. We call him the band Houdini. I don't know if you guys know, he is able to take he was able to take, when he went back to the program back in 2000, I want to say 2018.
Yeah.
He went back into the program after being gone for almost 2 decades.
Yeah, it was 15 years,
something like that. And he took the program when he went there. He said that 5 band members at the end of the school day, when they went in for band practice, 5 band members introduced themselves as the band, meaning that was it. 5 instrument players. 5 instrument players, 1 million auxiliary, and maybe 2-3 percussion players. And he took that and created a 135-piece band. It was incredible. 80 plus musicians, 80 plus instrumental players.
He actually took the band from being one of the smaller organizations at the school to returning it to former glory. And not only that, people were transferring into the school just because he was the band director.
Literally.
And for I don't know if you guys follow what's going on with Carroll City, but there's been a really big attrition problem with the amount of students that are going to the school because of the lack of programs and the administration and a couple other things. You can follow the Alumni Association page. That's a good place to get updates. But it went from being 20, 30 kids, and that's including auxiliary, 20, 30, 40 kids, including auxiliary and percussion, to over 135 to, I think at one point it was 200 and something with the auxiliary.
That first year.
That turned into a quarter of the school population was in the marching band. Do you know how incredible that is? That he went from the smallest program to a quarter of the school is in the marching band.
In the matter of weeks.
Yes.
Forget months. Forget years. In a matter of weeks. And he didn't have, mind you, most high school or collegiate bands, they would have what's called a band camp or a band, summer band rehearsal, things like that. His first day, most high school bands. His first day was the first day of school. Yeah. He had none of that. He took brand new instrument players. People who have never played an instrument in their life, didn't know how to put it together.
Yeah.
To going to the Florida Classic Battle of the Bands. They have a high school Battle of the Bands right before the Florida Classic happens. Between FAMU Marching 100 and BCU Marching Wildcats. He literally started with 5 instrument players and took over 200 students.
And we're talking about 100 kids that have never played an instrument before.
Don't know what music
everybody
is.
Wasn't able to go to the classic.
Right.
So we're talking about, it was like, what, 70, 80 instrument players that went to the classic? And we're talking about the majority of them had never touched a horn. Never touched a horn, but he was so diligent with them and he was so patient with them, and I don't know how he does it, but he was able to teach all of them everything that they needed. I mean, they had technique, they had articulation,
blended,
he taught them dynamics. Like for you wouldn't have known that was a first year marching band, a literal first year marching band.
I could count on one hand how many students played for more than a year. More than 6 months. Let's put it that way. Because he came in at the end of August, the beginning of September. They didn't really start playing, let's be honest, until mid to end September. And the Florida Classic was in mid-November, like the week before Thanksgiving. So these kids had a month. Like, think about that. A whole month and a half to learn how to put the instrument together, learn the care and maintenance of their horns, learn the different the notes.
Oh, and they weren't learning to play by ear. Right. Okay? Like, that's one thing that I will give him. He teaches theory.
Yes,
and he
does.
teaches theory very well. So not only did they learn how to play their horns and everything like that, they also learned how to read the music that went along with it. So all of them actually had to learn their whole show music. And like I said, the other instrument, we don't use lyres. We don't use stands. They had to memorize all of it.
Exactly.
So you have to learn your music to be able to memorize your music. And he did phenomenal at getting them through that process. Like, he really is. He's Van Houdini.
He's the Houdini. Like, it's just, like, he's such the GOAT. Like, I want somebody to make a movie out of this dude. because, like, literally, that dream year that we had, and especially us coming on to the staff as instrumental coaches, like, those kids worked so hard to be able to pull that off. Like, literally right up until the minute that we were about to go. Like, which you'll probably hear that story, when the movie comes out. But it's just like, honestly, like, it really just inspired me. It actually inspired me with that documentary that I was talking to you about. It was called The Whole Gritty City. The one in Louisiana, and it kind of that one really resonated with me. And honestly, we just need a story. Like, that story in and of itself is worth, like, everything. And then not only that, it changed those students' lives. We had some of the students who literally, they were at Miami Carroll City Senior High School. They transferred to another school because it was failing, back. And then transferred back once they learned that
Beck was going to be
Mr. Beckford, or Beck as we call him, was going to be there. And when I say it transformed their life, that, like, some of these kids went on a full ride to college. Yes. Some of these kids, who graduated and all of a sudden graduated, inspired to them now. And now has a scholarship, something that would have been lost had it not been for the influence and being up under Mr. Richard Beckford. He inspired me to go back and pick up my horn and be able to play and say, you know what, Sierra, you're not done. You can do it. Like, I don't know whatever happened in the past, but we can get this done. And so that, honestly, like, just to have that person was just priceless. Just priceless. Like, yeah, but that's okay. Yeah, if you're so we just left. Yeah, so we're gonna keep it live. It's okay. The sound that you're hearing is
that's my fur baby.
Wonderful dog. mommy's over here. You know,
Yeah.
she had to reprimand, but she came back.
No,
okay.
I don't know if you guys can hear it because first it was the tickety because we just got wood tile floors in here, so her nails just clicked on everything, and then I put her in my room because, as she told you guys, we don't have a door right here. We're in construction phase. I put her in my room because my room still has a door on it, and she's just sitting over there just and just go lay down.
Like a typical black parent. Go lay down. Drink your water, go lay down.
Look, I don't care what nobody says. She speak English, okay? She speak English. She speak English. She understands me perfectly fine.
Right.
Like, you showing out. Go lay down.
Right. So yeah, let's go back to this momentous occasion at Florida Memorial, because I want you guys, Florida Memorial right now is on and popping with their homecoming season starting today, moving on until the end of this week, which is Saturday. I'm excited.
Don't do flummo like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it a full?
It's a full week to week. So
Gotcha.
it started I think yesterday actually, but they close out every homecoming with a church service, and
Gotcha.
I know there's a lot of church people that go to Flummo. So if you wanna, if you can get up after tailgate on Saturday, there's a church service on Sunday.
That's
don't lie to the people.
The older alumni who didn't partake in the interesting activities.
If you didn't make it to the step show, if you didn't make it to the tailgate, no, you'll be surprised. Look, just like you see them all that fam and Bethune, the old heads, we got all our old heads out there, okay?
Right, that's cool.
Look, they be partying just as hard as we do.
But the parties have phases. So like we had, BCU homecoming, we have Finally Famous, which is thrown by the Alphas, and you be seeing all type of people up in there. And then you have I think it's like a older wine dine something rather party that's like for like the all alumni.
So they have I think it's the all black party at Gulfstream. I think it's at Gulfstream. Then they have the brunch over here at Lorna's. They're having a whole brunch service at Lorna's. They have the church service. They have the homecoming step show and concert. That's going to be on Saturday. They got K. Michelle, J Dilla, I think, and one other person. But the headliner of that one is K. Michelle. And then they have. Let me just pull up the calendar because I'm gonna be sitting here.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and put post that whole link, and we'll post it up on our social media, on our Facebook and Instagram and things like that. So we'll go ahead and we'll give you a link of all of the full activities, and then of course if you're watching via YouTube, you can go ahead and check that out as well. But yeah, moving still on this momentous occasion of Mr. Richard Beckford. What he's doing at Florida Memorial. No, okay, so the first the first thing, the big momentous occasion was that he was going or moving on to collegiate director of bands. Mm-hmm. But what he's bringing to the Florida Memorial University music program is even greater than him just being there himself, because he's not just going there just to be there. He's going there to work. He says that there should be no reason why Florida Memorial should not have any of the other programs that are afforded to not only all other HBCU bands, but bands themselves. Mm-hmm. And so he's bringing over a strings program there. Mm-hmm. He's bringing more students, recruiting now more than ever. There are literally talks of students, here, graduating seniors from over the high school. They're like, oh, we going with Beck going there, we going there too. Now it's affording more opportunities for people to stay home in Miami or in, I would say, the Tri-County area and still get a quality education with a quality music program instead of having to go other places in order to get it. So I think that's amazing.
And I don't know if y'all know what out of town room and board look like, but it saved me a whole lot of thousands of dollars to stay home. I'm not gonna lie. But I was able to find the schedule of events. So yesterday they had Soulful Sunday, which is like a gospel concert at Susie C. Holly Religious Center. They're having a skate party tonight.
Okay.
In Robinson Circle. They're having Dining with the Royals, which is a barbecue and homecoming meet and greet for Mr. and Mrs. Homecoming. They have a comedy show on Tuesday. Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. They have the day of service on Wednesday at 8 a.m. at Miami Technical High School. We'll post this. There's going to be a main attraction carnival on the 5th at 3 p.m. I'm sorry, at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. There's the Legacy Society ceremony luncheon. Excuse me. On Thursday, there's also the Lion Pride Day pep rally on Thursday. You have the alumni versus student game on Thursday. You have the alumni homecoming luncheon on Friday. The homecoming Greek step show and concert on Friday. And I have to correct myself. It's K. Michelle, G. Herbo, and Serrani. Not J. Dilla. My bad. Okay. Then, of course, there's the tailgate. It starts at 11 a.m. We have our women's basketball game starting at 2 p.m. on Saturday, and then our men's basketball game starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday. And then there's also a party in the Omega Center that I was told about. The tailgate after party in the Omega Center. And then on Sunday, they're doing their closing ceremony, FMU Sunday at Jesus People Ministries Church. So they're expecting more people at that service, so they went to a larger location. So that's going to be at Jesus People on Sunday, and that's the official homecoming.
All right, full homecoming schedule. All right. So, yeah, so as you can see, we're so excited. We're so excited of everything that's going on and at our local HBCU in Miami, which is Florida Memorial University. Again, you can check them out. As a matter of fact, I think if I'm not mistaken, we created a QR code. If you are a graduating senior or high school senior and you are interested in attending Florida Memorial University, we have a QR code that takes us straight to the application. We'll also post that up on Facebook and Twitter and any of our other social media sites.
Or if you know a graduating senior, you can send them that way too.
And then also too, if you know someone who is a musician and would like to audition for the band program or the music program itself, the auditioning schedule should be up. I think it's gonna be, with the changes that are going on, they might change that schedule coming up. I know you definitely, there's a criteria involved.
That during the summer months, it's going to be a very quick process,
right?
Because football starts this fall.
Right. So to be a music major, I believe their audition process starts a bit earlier. If you want to be in the band, again, check with the changes that are going on as well. So yeah, that's our news.
I'm amped. Completely totally amped.
But with all this news with the being band directors, and believe me, I love Mr. Beckford. I love all of our local band directors. I love the HBCU band directors. I think that they are the unsung heroes of our lives as well as the lives of many, many others. We talked about
they create our soundtracks.
Right. They create our soundtracks, and then also, they save lives because they save lives. They create opportunities for people to attend school and things like that. And as much as I love them, I don't want to be them. Like, I just...
There needs to be more of an emphasis placed on music careers that are not music educators. Period. Like, it's sad to say, but education is a field that you have to have a passion to go into, especially nowadays. So if I have a passion for music but not for kids, music education isn't going to work for me.
Right.
It's really not. And I love y'all. I really do. As you see, we're doing everything we can to support you and your program. Remember, send those donations into the band boosters.
Right.
Or donated to the school directly with the notation that it's going to the marching band.
Hashtag shameless plug. Right. They pass them
get
up.
them people some money. But as far as it goes, it ain't
just,
for me.
It's not for me. And the thing is that what makes me so
was,
upset is
it ain't for me.
Right. Listen, what makes me so upset is I was a music major. I was a music
ed major.
And and here's the thing, I saw so many people leave the music major because they felt like they had to be in a classroom in order for them to graduate and be considered a music major, be considered a music graduate, whatever. They had to at some point teach somebody, and not everybody was on that train. No one wanted, not no one, but not everyone wanted to be a band director, and there were so many talented musicians who left the program because they felt pressured into wanting to be a band director or something affiliated with the music classroom. And that's just absolutely untrue. There's so many different things that you can do within music that does not include being in a classroom or even teaching private lessons or anything like that, or gigging. Like, there's so many different things that you can do. But I want to hear from Taryn, because she actually was an ed major. I wasn't an ed major at all. I wasn't on that train. Like,
look,
I just don't understand, like, it just wasn't for me. So
no, I mean, I did at one point in time. I did want to be a band director, and my thing was I wanted to either teach high school band or I wanted to teach college band. And over the interesting educational history, I actually got to help teach high school students, and I got to help with high school marching band, and I got to teach college students, and I got to help run a whole college marching band. Like I said, we had a 5-piece in a biscuit at Flomo at one point in time, and between me and Glenn and
who was that? E?
Yeah.
Oh, E was over there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, E was over there for a little bit of time. So between me and Glenn and Mackenzie and
the great Dr. Mackenzie, by the way. Shout out to him. Even though
Mr. Mackenzie has a record through Dade County. Like, he probably taught your band director.
Right. But he was on the tail end of his career at that time.
Yeah. And he just didn't have the energy.
Yeah, he couldn't sustain that.
He tried to hold on for as long as he could. But at the time, I couldn't do it no more. And honestly, I refused at that point because there was so much confusion and pushback, and the people that were actually helping propel the program, like Glenn, like we were through, like we were tired. And I had been in and out of school with everything going on in my life, and as far as it goes, like I couldn't do it anymore. And at that point, I don't know if for those of you who know me, you know I am not a morning person. So if you are not a morning person and you think education is your portion, it is not. It is not. Not unless you're doing private lessons or unless you're opening your own studio or something like that. And that just wasn't the route that I wanted to take. I wanted to actually, run a band. And I did get to have that experience. And it was fun. I mean, we got to grow the program a little bit to about what its current size is now. Well, before Beck takes over. But I mean, I went from, because remember, I started at Flomo when I was in 10th grade. So, I was in the community band. So I started at Flomo when I was in 10th grade. So by the time I got to Florida Memorial as an actual registered student, I was already the band secretary. I was the band coordinator. I was running practices. I was recruiting everybody.
Anybody with a pulse that was next to her, if they had a horn or if they even looked like an instrument player.
Look,
Lady Luna was on the job. Okay?
I got a couple people that hated seeing me if it was a Tuesday or Thursday on Florida Memorial campus. I got there early and I would walk through campus. Hey, didn't you play in high school? Yeah, you right. Come, you got baritone. Come up. Like, I would grab you and put you on a horn. I really would. And so, like, it takes that sometime. And I mean, we got a decent sized pep band out of it with all of the consistency and annoyance. Like, y'all may not have liked me at that moment, but I bet you we had a good show that day. This is for the greater good. So, I mean, I had those experiences, but because I had to be so involved while I was in college at the collegiate level, I pretty much did what I would have went and got a degree to go and do. Mm-hmm. So between the early mornings and the fact that I had already experienced it, me and my short attention span was like, I'm ready to do something else. And as you see, obviously I still have a passion for music and band and all things surrounding it, but music education, it just ultimately wasn't for me. And if I would have known about the different things that I could have went into aside from music education, like, I mean, we had like jazz studies, but like I said, we awkward wonder twins activate. Like, no, like I'm not going to be the person that goes out in solos. Like, I'm not. Like, I'm pretty sure a couple people can tell you a story or two where it was just like, no, I did one gig, like, independently my whole life, and it was with Corey, and I was in the background playing bongos, okay? I wasn't even on a flute. It was, like, I could be in the corner, I'm just bopping, like, but no, it wasn't even on a flute. So, I was just too awkward to do the whole in-person, just perform my life away thing. I couldn't do it. So just the different things that I could have went into, like maybe if I would have went into maybe music therapy or musical theater, because I don't know if y'all know this, but I am a freaking theater nut. I can sing all sorts of Broadway stuff, but I can't actually sing. So
she helps me with my students all the time.
It's me and car karaoke, and I'm doing all show tunes. But don't ask me to sing in person because it's not gonna happen. But music theater production, just all kinds of stuff like that. Like, I wish I would have realized that those were the career options that I could have had.
Right.
And I probably would have went more in that direction, because not only would it have been a little bit better for me and my sleep schedule, but I wouldn't have spent money on education classes that I ultimately don't need right now.
Right.
I mean, thankfully they're helping me, balance out that elective credits for the degree I'm currently pursuing. But no, I would have had a much better idea. I wouldn't have spent as much money as I did trying to figure it out, and I would have been able to go into a career of my choice a lot sooner.
Right. And that's just, because you were doing the education track and you saw how it was. And then, of course, like the lack of funding and lack of support that you had was a contributing factor to what I don't need this. Like,
I was struggling for funding in high school and in college. It was just like, am I going to have to do this all the time?
Yeah.
So like every day? No.
That's definitely a contributing factor, which is why, we're so happy that now they don't have to worry so much about that Ms. Beckford's going to definitely vie for those kids and definitely, just push the envelope of what we perceive and what we think music should be, because a lot of those issues and hiccups that we have, like in the education field itself, which is why I didn't want to really do it, is because the powers that be don't understand the amount of work and the amount of things that it actually takes to run a program.
Or they forgot because they've been in administration so long.
Right.
Which is another frustrating issue.
Because they want to play the game instead of actually...
Like, somebody has to teach the kids. Everybody can't be a AP or a principal or district. Like, somebody has to teach the kids. And you can't forget what it's like to teach the kids. And what it took for you to teach the kids. And then once you remember what it took for you to teach the kids, you need to factor in inflation. You need to factor in changing demographics. You need to factor in changing requirements from what it was when you were a teacher. Because all of those things play into, well, why is it so hard for him to do this? Why is it so hard for her to do this? Well, because it ain't the same thing that you had to do. Like, a lot of the people that are on school board now or on AP or principal roles now, like, none of them had to deal with the amount of standardized testing that these children have to deal with. And if you're telling me you want me to run a music program, but I have to spend 15, 20, 30 minutes of my class on a reading assignment or a math assignment that has nothing to do with what I'm trying to teach, and I can't even personalize it to say, okay, well, we're going to be reading about this composer today, or we're going to be learning about fractions today, because if you actually look at music, it's a whole bunch of fractions.
Right.
So we're not going to explain how this actually relates to math and the countless studies that actually support the fact that if you have a music program, it supports both your reading and math levels in the school. We're not going to be able to do that. We only want you to do what we tell you to do.
Right. Or on an elementary level where they want you to go to 2 different schools and fully, fully service 2 schools with 2 separate principals with 2 separate sets of classes for one pay. Oh, and by the way, on top of that, you teach intervention too, math and science and reading for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, because you can't just do your job, but which is teaching music for 2 schools. Now you got to add that plus intervention. Oh, and let's throw in some 7th grade civics because one of your class, because one of your classes or one of your schools for intervention, because one of your schools is a K-8, which they treat the K-8 programs, the kindergarten through 8th grade, they treat them as an elementary program and only give them elementary funding and not funding for middle school. So they only have 1 principal and 1 assistant principal for 2 different schools.
What?
Elementary and secondary. Splooshed into one. Yeah, let's talk about that, which brings me to why you were in education classes. For that reason, I knew that before I even went into education, I knew that I didn't want to be a part of it. So I was avoiding education like the plague. Okay? When I stepped on Bethune-Cookman University's campus, I told them there is no education for me. It is music technology through and through, because I understood the what was going on with the whole No Child Left Behind and how these kids having 2 and 3 different intervention classes and math classes, 2 and 3 classes of reading, and they can't even have an elective. Their reading classes, their elective, because they couldn't afford to have anything else. And that's really where the music program, especially in the South and especially in Miami-Dade County, they failed these students. That's a whole other thing. But
and what they don't realize is that what you're really doing is you're actually contributing to their burnout. Like, by sitting here and going over this information again and again and again, and they don't have anything else to go off of. Like, all you're doing is it's information redundancy, which is going to lessen the impact that it has on the memory. There's just overexposure to the subject, and then you're teaching it in like 3 different ways, and you're not necessarily teaching it the way that particular student needs to be taught, because there's, what is it, like 30, 40 kids in the class? So you can't even worry about whether this person is a tactile learner, whether this person is somebody who has to listen to the lesson. And then you're expected to do all these EIPs? IEPs and doing this and doing that. And you have to do that on top of your regular workload.
And let's not even talk about the socioeconomic status of these kids. These kids have to deal with rape, murder, homelessness, all these different other types of things that happen in their daily lives on a regular basis that other kids do not have the exposure to. And then you want to send them home with hours of homework. Who's gonna do homework when they gotta worry about I don't know where I'm gonna sleep tonight? Who has the energy of a school project when the homeboy just got shot, like, or their father or their whoever it is?
And then they take away the counselors. Like, there's not enough counselors, actual counselors, for these kids. Like, you have them going to college counselors, or you have them going to counselors to see their grades, but where's the actual counselor that they can go to if they're having emotional issues?
Right.
Like, there's a huge discrepancy in between the number of students and the number of those resources that are available.
Right. And so, like, I went to the high school. I marched at Miami Carroll City Senior High School But I went to a high school called Miami Lakes Educational Center, which they didn't have a football team or anything like that. And so I was allowed to participate in activities in my home school, which happens to be Carroll City. But I went there so I could not only get a high school diploma, but by the time I left there, I was college ready for a field of my choice, which was music technology and sound engineering. And so when I went to college, I had already had that background of sound engineering. And so I had already decided to go and take that track of sound engineering, music technology, film scoring, sound editing, sound designing, Foley artistry. Like those are the tracks, and those are the areas of my interest. And so when I got in my music theory classes, everyone kept talking about being a band director, and I was just like, but that's not why I'm here. I got through, I graduated, but at the same time, and then I developed a passion for performing and things like that. But had I not came in with a different area, I wouldn't have finished, because if they had told me that I had to be a band director, or they were feeding me drill charts and feeding me this, I would have told them no, and I would have found something else to do, because I just wasn't interested in that. And I just I implore, if you are a band director, or if you are a music education, like, there's nothing wrong with that. You do you.
No, go
like,
for it.
As a matter of fact, we need decent people
we
in
do.
education.
We just knew it wasn't for us.
Right.
And
but at the same
as you
time,
can see, there's the support there.
Right.
So if you want to do it, go for it.
But don't shove it down people's throats. Like, if you're a college professor and you're teaching music theory and things like that, please, I implore you, show your students other avenues that they can pursue in music. It will help keep them in the program. If you notice, there are hundreds of people who go through Theory 1. By the time it gets to Theory 4, it's like 5 people in there. Not just because, because people think that music is just, you play the notes and you go home. Like, music is an actual, like, I would say it's along the lines of the nursing program. I would say it's along the lines of, like, a really elite business administration program or business management program, because you have to do so much. It's not just, play the notes and go home. I
got all the way to Theory 3. I got all the way to Theory 3 before I changed my majors, and I am currently in in business policy and all kinds of stuff like that. I am doing better in this business policy class than I ever did in Theory 3, okay? And I was actually okay in music when I was in class.
Yeah.
But I there's such a vast difference. And I just, like, you know what I think it is? And this is something that I hope that the theory professors take into account. Theory 1 is just so basic. You get bored and you feel like you're in high school again. Then they take it up a notch in Theory 2. So you can kind of keep up, but it's challenging enough. And then Theory 3 comes. And you see more notes on that paper than to connect the dots. And you're sitting here and you're just like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Because you go from, like me, okay, like if you play keys or if you play strings or something like that, you may be a little bit used to it. But I didn't play keys. Like, my left hand is horrible. I didn't play strings. My left hand is horrible. But if you go from Theory 1 and Theory 2, like, they're giving you single, maybe double or triple line music when it comes to, like, the chords and stuff that you can play to pick your part. And then you get to Theory 3. And there are stacks of notes on top of each other, and you have to figure out what progression are you making from here to measure 40, and what minors, what majors, what fifth, what. Oh my God! Like, it just goes, like, I hate to say it goes 0 to 100 real quick.
What do they call them? I think it's polymorphic, or is it something chordal instruments, like, so instruments that you can play more than one note at the same time. Those instrument disciplines, they have a better time with theory because they understand it earlier. Those of us who play, again, clarinet, flute, those of us, like, we had a hard time. And I
can read to the rafters, but I'm not reading 5 notes at a time.
But I just so happened, like, I was good at it, and I was, often they would make me tutor other students. Like, Doc was good for that. Go to Sierra. she knows it. Nah, don't go to me. But the only reason is because I already had that background in high school. I was already reading chord progressions in high school for my music, my theory classes in technology. And then when we got into electronic music and all that and downloading that information, like we had to learn that. So that's why I kind of had almost a leg up on kids who didn't have that background. And that again goes to my discrepancies of that's the thing for the baby. That goes to the discrepancies of information, because students at New World, they thrive in college because they have those music theory classes sooner. And then there are other high schools that have AP Music and all these different other
string programs where they have somebody around them that's exposed to it. Because look, the only reason I know how to read bass clef like that is because in high school my best friend was a baritone player. So I was always trying to figure out transcribing, what's your part? What's this? What's that? So, like, kids are curious. So if they have that in their arena to draw from, they're more likely to know it when they get to college. Right. So because we didn't have a string program, or because we didn't have that advanced of a keyboard program, because I took a keyboard class, don't get me wrong. But like I said, like, my left hand is crap, so that didn't work. Like, Miss Ingram tried her hardest, but it didn't happen. But like, we had like piano 1 and piano 2, but we didn't have anything where you're playing full sonatas and concertos and stuff like that. Like, somebody might have done it for a solo ensemble, but they were most likely influenced by something outside of Carroll City. Like, I think one of our solo ensemble people that actually did go to state, like, they learned how to play keyboards in the church, so they know how to do full organ. I think they're organist now for a church. But they had those lessons and studies outside of it, so they knew all the different chord progressions and how to read this and how to do that, but they weren't doing it at the school because we didn't have an organ at the school. So it wasn't like we could see 5-6 stacked notes and be like, oh, what's that?
Right. So let's do a rundown of just a few of the careers that we can do in music, so that people will actually know. There's so many different careers that you do. Music technology is just one of them. Multimedia, film scoring, sound designing, Foley artistry. Foley artistry is where they make the sound effects. That was very, very interesting to me. That
was.
And that's so awesome. It's that was something that I wanted to do. In addition to that, you can become an arranger for a band program. Like, if you love band but you don't really want, you can literally go on Sibelius or Music Score or Finale or whoever it is. Go and create an arrangement of your favorite song, and you can sell it to programs. They are looking, believe me. Yeah, they are looking. Make your little coin.
Remember I told you, like, music ain't free? How I was telling you that the sheet music ain't free. You could be the person that gets paid when we get the sheet music.
Or composition. That's a really good major to go into, especially if you're really, really creative and you want to be able to create your own film score. Be a Steven Schwartz or John Williams or whoever it is. Like, those are some amazing things that you can do. You can even take it to your local band program, or if you're in an HBCU band now, you can literally take it to your band director and they will showcase it for you, or take it to your music program and write a
quartet. Or just ask your friends.
Or just
to be like, hey, what are you doing on Friday? I want to run through this real quick. You mind if I record it?
Right. That's it. With the technology, is no excuse for you to be able to do it. And then
we're doing this on a cell phone.
Right. So just run down real quick and then we'll...
Okay, so we have acoustics engineers, we have audio production and editing. You could be a choral director instead of band director.
I know a few choral directors. Shout outs to you.
Like she said, conductor. Like, somebody has to actually guide the program. Cruise ship entertainer.
What?
Now, I know a couple of people that actually do cruise ship entertainers, and as far as it goes, you get paid meals, you get to, like, they're paying you to be on the ship, so you're riding around the world for free and getting paid pretty much. Like, they supply outfits and all this kind of stuff like that. Like, it's a good deal. Like, I was looking into it, but I couldn't do it at the time. Might turn around and do it. Right. electronic production and design, so the mixing and mastering for the films and stuff like that. So it's pretty much the technical side of film scoring. So film scoring is
sound
where
editing, editing, sound design.
Film scoring is where you pick the music that goes with the scene. And then the electronic production and design is where you make sure everything is lined up and it sounds good.
And it's synced.
Yeah, it's synced. Event production, management, planning, technology. Like I said earlier, music therapist, music for game development, music lawyers, music licensing and clearance, music preparation, music critic or reviewer, music curator. Let's see.
If you're a military person, go on your military band. Hello. It hit you in reserve.
I was tempted. I wasn't going to say I was going. I was tempted to join the Marines, because I don't know if y'all know, but my dad's a Marine. But if I was going to go to the military, I was going to go to the Marines, because the Marines are the only military unit who every year their marching band plays for the president.
The president's own.
They are one of the most world-renowned military bands, and that was what I was going to do. If I'm going to go to the military, because I'm already stubborn, y'all know me, I want to go to the Marines, because the Marines get to showcase every year at the Kennedy Center for, the President Medal of Honor and stuff like that. Those
Kennedy honors.
The Kennedy honors. They're the ones that play all the music in the background. So I was like, if I'm going to go, I'm going to go.
4th of July.
But then they told me that, like, people who get in that band, they stay there for like 70 years. So if you're in the military, make sure you look out for postings, because that is a sweet gig. That it really is. And it's lasting. Because, like, all of those people, they have been there for
they've been there for a long time.
So you can literally make your military career a music military career.
Right. And when you retire, you eaten stacked, and you have notoriety if you want to move on into, other gigs, and like, that's it. But I'm fat, so I don't think that's a career choice for me. But
we too old now. We too old now. We can't recruit nobody now. And then the one other thing that I want to point out, just because I'm a tinkerer, instrument repair.
Oh yeah.
It is a dying
big money.
It is a dying art, but it is a very needed skill. It is so few people that actually can do quality repairs on an instrument that you can afford to charge. If you are worth their metal, you can charge. Right.
That's what I said. I wanted to start making my own reeds, because I learned how, I took a reed making class when I was in, it was like a clinic that we did where the guy came over, he worked on all of our horns for free. When I tell you the whole school went on. But then also, that's why I say I over loved my professor. I was like, as much as all of the things that happened, during my collegiate matriculation or whatever you call it. Yeah. Dr. Pop, honestly, I love me some him. He just opened my eyes to so many things, and he brought so many different programs and brought so much talent to our university that he was just he was underappreciated, honestly, and there will never be another professor like that there that would just bring so much value to that program. And it's such a shame that they couldn't see it. But at the same time, we learned how, the basis of reed making. We learned how to improve the reeds that we already bought. We learned how to work recork instruments and repad. I haven't tried it, but we learned how to recork and repad instruments and the different things. It's almost I guess in the string players they call it luthiers. The luthiers are the ones who tinker with the string instruments. We need more notarized instrument repair people for wind instruments. Wind specific,
and brass.
It's brass is wind. It's just not woodwind.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
As you see, I got favorites.
Right. Wind instruments, because like you hear so much about, percussionists and things like that, and you hear so much about the string programs and but what about the wind instruments themselves? Like at least in the local band, like I know whatever Mr. Portier did, he worked wonders with our horns too whenever he could, but like that stuff is not free. It's real expensive, and then I at least know the basis of knowledge. I want to go back to that actually, because then I could actually help some of the kids, who need it, and just get the base price or whatever, so they don't have to pay so much to get their instrument repaired and then have to wait so long because it's just one guy that's servicing all of South Florida.
No. No.
Or two guys. Like
I can guarantee you everybody in the north side of Miami-Dade County and the south side of Broward, they know Ray.
Yeah.
They know Ray. Like Ray has been the instrument repair guru for us for so long. I love Ray to death. Like he has the patience of a saint sometimes, because we have so many issues. Like and he pulls miracles, or he will at least give you the blood raw about it. Like, this ain't gonna be able to get fixed. Like, you can buy a whole new instrument for what it would cost me. Like, I can fix it, but you could buy a whole new horn for what it would cost me to fix this. Like, he'll at least give you those real stats. And honestly, with the amount of instruments that are being produced overseas and things like that, they're cheaply made instruments. They're not as high quality sound or construction wise as a lot of the ones that we grew up playing with, but it is cheaper sometimes to just buy a new horn than it is to get a quality to get a horn repaired. So if you're paying $150 for the flute, just know it's gonna cost more than $150 to fix it. So you might as well order you another $150 flute if something happens. Now, if you spend $1,000,
save up and buy your quality instrument. That way, you don't need so much maintenance on your horn. And that's the thing. We need to educate these kids and educate the parents on how to pick an instrument. Don't just pick the first thing because it's the cheapest thing,
or because it's colorful,
right?
Because that pink flute or that blue clarinet or that red trumpet is not gonna last you past this marching season.
It's not.
It's not. I wanted one too, and my daddy looked at me and laughed. Like, no. He did.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it. Like, he was like, I'm not spending that much money on that just because you think it's cute. What is it? It's cheap.
Right.
He looked at me and laughed, dog.
So those are all the careers. Those are all the careers in music. Those are all the things that you can do. And then, the moment you all been waiting for is the Honda. Guys, the Honda Battle of the Bands was not last Saturday, but the Saturday before last, and man, there was some star-studded people there. I mean, Tank graced his presence at the Honda Battle of the Bands. There were just so much to talk about. We'll do a comprehensive review on at a separate time. We're just going to give you some of the highlights that we really, really liked, and then stay tuned to that Honda Battle of the Band review that we're talking about. But for me, I really like, I know you like JSU. JSU kind of surprised me. They were drilling, man. They were drilling. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Also, too, I got to give it to Tennessee State as well. Tennessee State did a really good drill. And they, which makes it so funny, is because I saw blue clarinets on the field, blue and white, and child honey, they had a whole coloratura or whatever you call it. Like, it was just they had
to coordinate.
No, I saw a girl on the field, no lie, a blue barrel, a white bell, a red upper section, and a blue lower section. Like, they was just mixing and matching, like, with a black with a black mouthpiece. I was like, oh, okay, y'all doing it big. Have fun. Wow. But yeah, and
I didn't even catch that.
But some of our obviously fam, they They sounded good. They're gonna always sound good. To me, they kind of played it safe. What do you think?
I mean, I can say that they played it safe. They could have done a little bit more on the formations and transitions and stuff like that. Like that stick man.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
like,
that's what we get. Like we create people, y'all create sticks. Anywho, that's enough of my shade. That's enough of my shade. Need I remind you, we created a whole Obama on the field. Thank you. Anywho,
I'll let you have that. I'm not doing this with you today.
A whole Obama.
We have to go.
Michael Jackson.
So I'm not doing this with you today. I'm not doing this with you today.
Thank you.
Literally.
Thank you for my TED Talk. All right, so we're gonna tune in to all of our updates and posts that we're gonna put up on Facebook and Instagram. Mm-hmm. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hang out. What are you waiting on? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss anything. Be sure to like, comment, and just engage in all of our platforms. We'll have all of the links in the description below. And come vibe with us. Our next installment is gonna drop soon, so you don't want to miss anything. And yeah, so
I think that's everything.
That's
and make sure you tag a friend. Yes. Tag a friend, share the video, but tag a friend.
Right. So what are some of the challenges that your program experienced as far as the thing? And did you ever want to be a music education major? Or if you didn't want to be a music education major, let us know.
Tell us your story.
For sure. So we'll see you in a little bit. We gotta go get the baby. We're already late.
And so I'm still in my time frame.
Right.
I got to go.
Right. So we gotta get it moving, and we'll see you later. Bye. Okay. Wait. We gotta do a picture. We gotta do a picture for.
I thought that's why we did the wave.
We did do the wave. But we gotta do a picture.
Oh God.
Blowing hot air. Episode 3. What did we title this?
Hold on. Lady. Come here.
You hear that? Yeah. You'll meet her soon.
Yeah, because I just thought about it. I'm used to the tickety.
Where's the door at?
I just noticed that. I'm like, we're in construction mode, okay?
They missing a whole door that y'all can't see. I can't see it either. Oh, well, there you go. All right. Because it's gonna be 1:50 before we know it. I am not a band director. Okay. Blowing hot air, episode 3. Take